Hello everyone and welcome back to Circus Tutorials. In today's tutorial is going to be part 1 of our Diabolo or Chinese yo-yo series, and that will be how to get it to start spinning and also make some corrections so that way we can learn more and cooler tricks in future videos. So before we get started, we're going to have to pick a Diabolo to learn with. So there are different sized Diabolos. So obviously this green one's a little bit smaller. That means that this one won't spin as long and is a little harder to catch, but generally tend to be much cheaper. There are also different axles. So both the purple and the green one are fixed axles, while this red one has a one-way bearing in it. So that way, once it gets spinning a little bit, it will spin for a much longer time than these ones will. So you might think this is a good option. Well, it actually, some tricks are much harder and frankly impossible with a bearing in it compared to a fixed axle. So once you get into 2 or 3, you're gonna want a fixed axle, but there's a trade-off. When we're learning, it really does not matter. It doesn't matter if you get a bearing one, if you get a fixed axle one, if you get a big one, a small one. The only thing I'm going to say is get a medium price range one at least. The reason for this is because you might see a very cheap one online and you might think, okay, I can get that to learn with. Usually the axles on those are terrible. So the string will bind and catch and it'll be super frustrating and infuriating to learn with because they'll barely spin, and it's just, do yourself a favor, get a medium price range one, get one that's going to last and will be much easier to learn with. And now when I say medium price range, this purple one I believe was in the ballpark of $20 to $30. This green one I think was 15 or so. And even this one-way bearing one, this one is one of the more expensive ones. This one is going for about 60 right now. But again, get something that's going to last, get something that is conducive to learn with, and we can get started. One thing that you're also going to need is a set of hand sticks. Most Diabolos will come with a set of hand sticks, so that's not a big deal. The only thing with the hand sticks is you need an okay string. Really, again, if they come with a Diabolo string, that's going to work just fine. The only thing with this is once it gets dirty, you are going to want to replace it so that way it doesn't kink and get snagged, and the yo-yos will spin longer if it's fresher string. But you can go weeks, if not months, depending on how much you use it without changing the string. As for the hand sticks, when we're just starting out, doesn't matter. Does not matter when we're first starting out what type of hand sticks that you have. I've actually used where it was just a drumstick or a wooden dowel that I drilled a hole in, put a string through. That's basically what you're going to get with the beginner set and works totally fine. Once you get into more advanced tricks, you are going to want a set of lighter sticks like these, carbon fiber or fiberglass. There's a couple different options. But for now, get something that works, get something we can learn with, and we are ready to start learning the Diabolo. So now we're going to get started with the yo-yo. So for this, we're going to put it on the string, and these instructions are if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you're just gonna have to reverse all the directions. So whenever I say right, for you I mean left, or vice versa. So we're gonna start it for right-handed people. Start on the ground on our right. Roll it from right to left and pick it up. And that's going to be step number 1. Just roll it gently on the ground. You don't have to be too hard about it, and get it spinning just a little bit. From here, we're going to have to speed it up. Now, almost all of the Diabolo tricks you learn are going to be dominant hand oriented, which means almost all the control comes from our dominant hand. So when we speed it up, what we're going to do is pull up and down with our dominant hand, right hand in my case. And just up and down like you're beating a little drum. Left hand really only holds the stick and holds the string tension, really doesn't do anything other than that. As you can see, it's not moving, it's not helping at all. It's just holding that tension. And just by going up and down with the right hand, it'll slowly make the yo-yo speed up. One thing to keep in mind here is you don't have to do like huge motions. You can, but a lot of times it'll send the string in a weird way and it'll cause the yo-yo to fall off the string. You just have to do little motions up and down. Don't have to beat the drum like you're in a metal band, just up and down. Now you might be thinking, okay, I can get it to start spinning a little bit, but then before I know it, it starts to tilt forward and away from me or back. And then before long, it tilts so far that it's just going to fall off the string, or it'll twist up a bunch of times on the string. And that's okay, because that's what we're going to be covering right now. So one little piece of advice, if it's twisted up a bunch of times, like this on the string, I've seen people hang the sticks down like this and try to untangle them, like swing them around. That's actually a lot more work. Just have the yo-yo hang down, give it a smack one way. If it starts to twist up more, just smack it the other way. And before you know it, it'll untwist pretty much on its own. A lot of people overcomplicate it. Just have it hang, untwist it, and you're good to start again. So now that we got it spinning a little bit, let me cheat and speed it up a little bit. Whee! So now we have it spinning a little bit. It might be tipping towards or away from you. So like I said, it's all dominant hand based. And so if it's tipping towards me like this, all I have to do is take my right hand and push it forward and it'll even back out. Or if it's tipping away from me, take my right hand and pull it back and it'll even out that way. We want to keep it as flat as possible to the ground. So if it's tilting like this, right hand forward, and it'll flatten back out. Now you might be saying, okay, well that I can kind of get that going, but sometimes it turns like this, and how do I fix that? So there's a way to fix this, but it's a much more advanced technique. So when starting out, if it starts to turn left and right, not just forward and back, for this, just step back behind it. Keep yourself flat with that cup closest to you. And if it gets weird again, just stay behind it and focus on front and back corrections. So I'm going to give you all one more quick bonus trick in this video, and that's going to be how to toss and catch the yo-yo. So once we get it spinning, now before you try this, you want to make sure it's spinning fairly quickly and nice and flat. We don't want it twisted, and we don't want it spinning too slowly, because in both cases when we toss it, it will tend to flip, or when we catch it back on the string, it's not stable enough and it'll fall off. So we want it spinning quickly and nice and flat. To toss it, it's pretty simple. All we gotta do is pull both hand sticks straight apart, and that'll launch it into the air. To catch it, the easiest way is to catch it close to one of the hand sticks. It can be either be your right or your left. It's really just whatever you're more comfortable with. I like my dominant hand. So up and catch close to that hand stick. Especially with higher tosses, you can actually point the right hand stick right into that yo-yo, right into the axle, and it makes it very, very easy to catch doing it that way. You can also catch it in the middle of the string, but the big trick here is to keep the string very taut, a lot of tension. So if the string's taut and tight between each hand stick, you know where the string's going to be, and it makes it fairly easy to catch with some practice. But if the string's loose, you have no clue where the string's going to be, and it tends to fall off and drop and roll away. So whenever you catch it, make sure that you keep the string nice and tight, and either catch it close to that hand stick, or just practice to be able to catch anywhere on the string. And with that, that's going to be today's tutorial. I know it wasn't a very exciting one, but this is a very, very important step. The reason for that is because the faster the Diablo is spinning, the more stable it'll be. And if we can't get it spinning quickly and make corrections, all of the other tricks are going to be much, much harder down the line. And once we learn to speed it up and get a good speed, a lot of the other tricks are actually very, very quick to learn. You can learn a lot of them very fast, but this step will seem like it takes a long time and kind of drags its feet through the mud to learn, but it is very important, and just keep at it. With that being said, share us your progress. We love seeing you guys' videos, and I will give you feedback on if I see that you're doing something wrong or something weird, or could be just be doing something better, not even necessarily wrong. So share us some videos on the Facebook, through other social media. If you like this video, do all the YouTube things. We do appreciate it, and we are planning on doing more in this series. We just don't want to overload you with information right now and release them in segments. With that, my name is Chuck Clark. This has been Circus Tutorials, and we'll see you in the next one.